Hi everyone, and welcome to this introduction to Ursa Studio. This lesson provides an overview of the Ursa Studio application. And while the intention of this lesson is not so much to show you how to use Ursa Studio, we will introduce you to what is possible in the platform. Everything we review in this lesson is going to be covered in depth throughout future courses, so let's begin. Ursa Studio provides features for intaking source data, developing robust data models, building complex measures, creating reports, and visualizing measure results. Related features are grouped into what we call zones, which you'll see here in the left navigation menu. The first zone we're going to review is the data model zone, and it offers an interactive visualization of your data model. In this zone, you can visually explore and interact with the objects, measures, and reports that are managed by the platform. For example, you can use the search bar to find objects, measures, or reports. When we select this institutional claim headers object, the object itself, the upstream objects it's derived from, and the downstream objects derived from it are all displayed. Within this zone, you can also apply restrictions, which we call lenses, to the data model. The lenses can be selected from this dropdown, and they exhibit metadata about the data model or its objects. By selecting the lens dropdown, you're able to filter by ETL details, edit history, and relationships. Now let's take a look at Metadata Manager. This is the zone where you manage business logic definitions, user-defined fields, patient and provider affiliations, among other attributes. For example, this is the zone where you manage value sets, and Ursa Studio ships with a number of preloaded value sets for you to use. The value sets feature is very rich in functionality, and we will explore it much more in depth in future lessons. So within the Metadata Manager zone, you can also manage terms that are associated with the data model. And terms are typically created to describe the values in columns, describe attributes of an object, or provide definitions for concepts and logic used in the analysis. For example, this attributee nephrologist term describes the logic that's used to determine the value in the attributee nephrologist provider NPI field. As you can see, Metadata Manager has a number of other features, and as I mentioned, we will review each of these in depth in future lessons. Clicking on Object Workshop from the menu on the left-hand navigation panel, Object Workshop is the zone in Ursa Studio where you can create a variety of different object types, manage ETL activity for those objects, and as necessary, you're able to modify existing objects. Navigating to the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, the Create New Object screen is where you can select from a variety of templates for creating specific object types. For example, the Import Data object type allows you to import flat file data, while the Single Stack object enables you to merge multiple existing objects into a new one that represents novel concepts. Clicking back to Object Workshop, this table lists all of the active objects in your instance of Ursa Studio. These objects are constructed from any of the object types templates that are available on the previous screen. To open any of these objects for review, simply click on the record in the table. So as you can see, the object's properties are organized into a number of panels. From this screen, you can update, clone, or archive an object. Okay, so going back to the Object Workshop screen, the last broad set of features that I'll mention in this overview are Ursa Studio's Etl features. I'm going to click this little chevron icon, and from this screen you can select which object or objects you'd like to update to ensure that they contain the latest data from their upstream dependencies. And as you can see, for most objects in the data model, you'll be able to update the object and its upstream and or downstream dependencies, or if you've selected multiple objects to update, you can exclude an object from being updated. These features and more we'll explore later give you a high degree of flexibility for managing when and how your data model is updated. Next, we'll look at Measure Workshop, which, as you would expect, is the zone where measures are created. At first glance, Measure Workshop is reminiscent of Object Workshop. And as you continue learning Ursa Studio, you'll see much of the fundamental functionality used in Object Workshop is also applicable in this zone. Despite objects and measures being very distinctive concepts and outputs, many of the features are similar. Much like Object Workshop, Measure Workshop enables you to create measures from a number of easy-to-use templates. For example, this event D followed by event N template allows you to create measures like 30-day readmission rates in just a couple of minutes. As with Object Workshop, this main table lists all active measures in your instance of Ursa Studio. Click on any measure to open it, and you'll see this screen, which provides an overview of the measure's key components. Clicking the pencil icon opens the measure for editing, copying, or archiving. And again, the Measure Properties screen is organized and presented in a similar manner to most object property screens. Now we're going to click on Advanced Analytics from the left-hand navigation menu. And the Advanced Analytics zone organizes all of Ursa Studio's advanced analytics features, such as models, insight discovery, driver files, and opportunity discovery, all in one place for ease of inventorying and managing those features. For example, if you click on any of the measures listed in the Insight Discovery panel, you'll be brought to the Measures Overview screen, where you can open the measure for editing the Insight Discovery feature in the Advanced Analytics panel. It's within this zone that you can also create models. Clicking the plus sign, we'll see that there are 4 options for creating models. You can create a linear or logistic regression model from their respective templates, or you can create models using custom R or Python code. For example, this model, 2 or more admissions in the next 6 months, was created using the logistic regression template. Next, we'll click on User Manager from the left-hand navigation menu. This zone, User Manager, is, as you would expect, a zone for creating, managing, and deactivating user accounts. Now, depending on your access level, you may not even see this zone, so we're not going to spend too much time here. Moving on to Report Manager. In Ursa Studio, measures are not available for end users to review them until they've been added to a report. While the features associated with reports are very rich, their function is actually pretty simple. Reports are used to present measures in the Analytics portal. The layout of this screen is familiar by now, and the functionality will be as well, so let's dive right in. Click the plus sign in the upper right corner to create a new report. This screen is where you name the report, configure the report's data coverage parameters, add measures, add users, and configure access privileges. We'll click on Report Manager from that left-hand navigation menu to go back to the main table. And to edit an existing report, you can simply select the report from this table. Next, we'll click the Analytics portal. The Analytics portal zone is unique in that all of the zones we have reviewed up to this point are concerned with or related to the preparation of analytics, whereas Analytics portal is concerned with the presentation of analytics. So this zone represents a shift in focus from creation to consumption. Another unique quality of this zone is that for some users, it represents the entirety of the Ursa Studio experience. That is, that they only have access to this zone, so this will be their primary focus. Analytics portal is feature-rich and very easy to use. But again, the purpose of this lesson is to introduce you to what you can do in Analytics portal rather than how to leverage it for your organization. We will focus on that in future lessons. Now, there are 5 primary functions of this zone. Number 1, you can review visualizations of measure results. 2, you can review the cases and observations associated with measure results in a table format. 3, you can review advanced analytics features associated with specific measures. 4, you can create and save boards, which are collections of custom analyses. And 5, you can communicate findings with other Ursa Studio users. We'll use the Chronic Kidney Disease Population Health Report to briefly review these 5 functions. I'm going to open the CKD Patient Per Member Per Month measure by clicking on it in this list of measures. This measure provides the average spend per member of a health plan by month. The measure opens in Measure Explorer, Analytics portal's visualization tool. From here, you can adjust the presentation of the chart by adding a trend line, or I can re-render the chart as a bar chart. I can also split or disaggregate the results of the measure by selecting a field from this list. By clicking the plus sign icon, you can also quickly filter the results of measures to isolate conditions of interest. There are a lot of features in Measure Explorer that we will review, but this gives you a good idea of how you can review visualizations of measures in the Analytics portal zone. Another function of Analytics portal is the ability to review the cases and observations the measure's results are based on. Just as with Measure Explorer, this presentation of the measure's data is highly interactive. You can rearrange columns. You can also calculate column-level statistics on the fly. And as you can see, you can also filter to restrict the records displayed in the table. There is much more to explore here, but we will get to that in another lesson. Clicking on the driver diagram link from the left-hand navigation menu, the Analytics portal is also where you'll find the presentation of some of the advanced analytics features that we talked about earlier in this lesson. This driver diagram feature is powered by a multivariate linear regression model and allows you to review the up and downstream relationships between measures. For example, if I select the percent of chronic kidney disease patients in program X measure from the upstream column, I can apply a theoretical percentage to the measure to see the downstream impact on the per member per month measure. As you might expect, as the percentage of patients in the intervention increases, the per member per month value decreases. Another function of Analytics portal is the ability to save custom analyses to a board. This board, Deep Dive on Population, is an example of a board that was created by a user from their analysis of the measures in the report. By creating this board, they never have to create this analysis again, nor do any of their team members. So, a couple of key features of boards. Any chart or table that you create when reviewing measures can be saved to a board. You can add annotations to boards that serve as reminders, or clarify your conclusions, or for any other purpose you may think of. You also have the ability to keep a board private so that only you can see it. Or you can allow others to be reviewers of the board, or you can give editing privileges to other users. Finally, you can edit, clone, or make a copy of an existing board and delete the boards that you've created as needed. The last function of Analytics portal that we're going to review in this lesson offers you the ability to share your analysis with other users. For example, you can click this arrow icon to open a pop-up window that allows you to share this board with all or select report users. You can also add a note to be included with the board when you share it. Users with whom the analysis is shared will be notified with the application and via email that you've shared the board with them. This share icon that we just reviewed is available in Measure Explorer as well as in Case Review. So instead of sharing a board, you also have the ability to share a single chart or table. To see what's been shared with you, you can click on the newsfeed link in the left-hand navigation menu. You can also post comments to the newsfeed from this page. It's also worth noting that when you share an item, your colleagues will receive an email with a link to the chart, table, or board that you've shared with them. So that concludes our high-level review of Ursa Studio. And you should now be acquainted with what you're able to accomplish in all 8 of the application zones. Thank you for taking a moment to check out this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.